What's up, guys? My name is Nicole Hemphill, and welcome to another episode of Silence in the Backcourt. Today, I've got with me a really wonderful guest. I'm really excited to introduce y'all to her. This is Amira Williams. Amira, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I can't believe that you're here, and I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, of course. I can't wait to get into it. Okay, so starting off, Amira, so when did you start playing sports?
Sports, I started with soccer. I was 4 years old and
Okay.
I hated it because it was outside. So then I switched to basketball when I was around five, and it's been me in basketball ever since.
Whenever you were playing basketball, right? Did you enjoy like the team environment more basketball or soccer?
I would say basketball, honestly. Yeah, like again, soccer was like a 1 day thing. I was like, oh, bugs,
Okay,
I
okay.
don't need to do this anymore. So I was like,
Yeah, me
indoors,
too.
I can do this. So it kind of just built from there. And again, from being at a young age, it was more about like fundamentals and stuff. I wasn't really playing on teams per se until I was like in third, fourth grade.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. And when did you decide that you wanted to play in college basketball?
So also funny story. My aunt, so around the time I was five, she was playing at UConn for Gino Auriemma, and they
Cool.
at that point just won the national championship. So it was always in my purview, and it was always something that was like, okay, you're gonna do this next. I was like, oh, okay. So it was never like, oh, when I decided, it was like, okay, you're up next. Like this is what you're gonna do, and I was like, okay,
Uh,
sure.
okay,
So
that's like T. That's like you just name drop Gino. Like that's cool. Your aunt is really cool. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's
If you
amazing.
want more name drops, I'll gladly do
Dude,
it. She
like
played with Maya Moore, which is like again my personal favorite basketball player of all time, like hands
that's
down. No one else can
crazy.
touch her. Yeah, Renee Montgomery, Tina Charles, that whole crew. Yeah, that was them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So and
Okay.
growing up, like going to their games and them interacting with me at a young age, I was just like, oh my God. Like I didn't understand what I was doing until like I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I was playing like I was talking to like and being around like the greats of like women's basketball during that time period. So that was pretty cool. But to answer your question, it was kind of always in my like range. It was like, you're gonna go do this. I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Right. I mean, and interacting with all those greats and kind of having that standard kind of already set, did you feel a sense of like pressure or anything? That was that like kind of scary?
Yeah, very. um
Yeah.
So, again, growing up is like, okay, like UConn's UConn, whatever. Then like actually going to like high school and like hearing, I'm like, oh, like I didn't realize like it was on like a different stratosphere. So I
Yeah.
definitely put the like my freshman, sophomore, and I would say a little bit of my junior year, my first high school. I definitely felt that pressure. I was like, I need to make sure that I like, at least coming close to that. And then once I kind of realized I'm on my own journey. I'm on my own path. It was never like, it never was like a comparison thing anymore. It was just like, and at that time I knew I was going to go to college. So it was just like, okay, whatever I get is for me. It's going to be my celebration. It's going to be my, own achievement, and don't have to compare it to something of that, you know, stature. Cause like, long story short, I'm not getting a national championship, but I'm going to get so many other things in the process in terms of friends, connections, and, the schools that I go to. And that's just kind of what like fulfilled me. But definitely in the beginning, I felt immense amount of pressure.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Wow. And what was your recruiting process like from high school to college?
Yeah. So like I said, I had one high school before. I ended up going to three different high schools in a span of 5 years. So my freshman, sophomore, and first junior year were at one public high school I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Just started with that. So
Mhm.
there was a high school called West Forsyth. One of our notable alumni was, in fact, Chris Paul. Yeah, he was our yeah. So
Just
that was
name drop. It's fine.
yeah, but
Just cool. Just cool. Just cool.
but so yeah, born and raised in he was born and raised in Winston Salem. Went to Wake Forest University, which is also in Winston Salem, and then becomes Chris Paul that we all know and love. But
Yeah.
so I did my first 3 years of high school there. Again, college recruiting wise, I did well. I had a couple of D1 offers, but ultimately I decided that I wasn't prepared to commit to the schools that were there for me at the time. So I ended up reclassing for my junior year, which let me go to my second junior year at a different school called Forsyth Country Day, which I loved. I loved, not to say that I didn't love West. A lot of my good friends were there, but Forsyth Country Day was a private school that I just felt like I could blossom at, and academically as well, and just athletically.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up picking a lot more offers up there. And then I had an opportunity to play at um, a, well, it was a Christian school, but they were going through a phase where they were getting bought by like an academy type prep school um,
Okay.
ordeal. And I ended up going there. A lot of things happened in between, but it ended up just being the Christian school that I went to. So that was called, it was Salem Christian. And there I competed with people who were from everywhere. So we're talking about four of my teammates were from Canada. A couple of my teammates were from the Dominican Republic. We had people all up and down the East Coast. I'm trying to think. We had people from Charlotte. I was probably the only one from Winston. The next closest one was like a girl that was like 45 minutes away. But all around North Carolina in general, we had this like, I think, a super team of talent. I, love those girls dearly. But that's kind of when my recruiting kind of took off for the better. Because at that point we were playing in international circuits. I'm not international, sorry. Well, we did go to Canada, but we played all across the country. We were considered like at one point, we were always in the top 25, but we were one point at like eighth in the country, which was pretty cool, I guess.
Cool. Yeah.
And again, so that recruiting process kind of it ebbed and flowed, but the height of it was probably during my junior and senior year.
Okay. Okay. And managing athletics and of course like and academics is hard, and I can only imagine that had to have been very difficult going from different schools and like, so how did you manage doing that in high school and then in college? Obviously playing your a college sport is a full-time
Yeah.
job, so
Oh,
what was
yeah.
that like from high school to transitioning into college?
High school transition to college. So my mom did not play about my schooling. If anything, my mom was like my school person, my dad was my sports person, right? So my mom made sure that I was paying attention to my academics. I always was like good at school. I never really struggled, thankfully. Even during the different play phases where I would go to different institutions. So I always had that foundation of like, it's cliche, but student athlete, you're the student first, that whole thing. So I really did have that
Yeah.
foundation. I also, um, let's just say it because it's informal. I knew early on that I didn't want to go to the WNBA. Before, when we're talking about like pre Caitlin Clark, pre Angel Wilson, Angel Reese, all these people. At that point, you know, the WNBA was making maybe, on a good salary, 55,000. So I was like, okay, maybe. And like, they were talking about like they had to go play overseas during the off season. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do all that. I'm going to be that dedicated to the sport. So I ended up, I knew the WNBA professional basketball wasn't my, in be all end all. So I really leaned on my academics at that point. And yeah, so it was just a very strict pathway for me. I kind of those are my two things I focus on most.
Hey, that makes sense. My mom didn't play about my academics either. I completely get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so whenever you're when you're in college, right, full-time job, how are you managing athletics and academics? Like, was there like a specific routine that you did to make sure that you stayed on top of things, or like that was always tough for me because I was in grad school too while I was
Yeah.
playing, and having to read 3 books a week and then go to practice and then have night class and then write a ton of papers and stuff, like that was really tough on me. So how was that like for you
Um,
managing?
yeah, like you said it perfectly. It just takes a lot of discipline, I would say. I think
Yeah.
that if you don't first, like I said, I had a good foundation knowing that this was the most important thing to me and different from my teammates. I knew that what I wanted to do in high school. And I knew that at the end of the day, and again, it's probably not the best thing to say as a former athlete, my academics were my, ticket out of what I was going to, ticket to something greater, I would say.
Right.
So I prioritize those more than, anything. And that's just kind of, again, that discipline, that prioritization helped me go through college. We had different, how would I say this? It was just it's a different way of being, like you said, it was a full-time job, and I kind of just treated it as such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, and it's not a bad thing to say whatsoever. Like, even if like there are so many people that go and play college sports, right? But not, of course, not many win their conference championships, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but then like 2 years later, no one's gonna care. People care more about like what you did in school and your resume and the things that are gonna carry you outside of athletics, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing to put those kinds of things first. And I think too, as an athlete, you're kind of scared to admit that, like, okay, I don't want to go play in the WNBA, and yeah, winning games is important to me, but also I want to do well in school so I have something to look forward to when I graduate.
Absolutely.
So that mindset is not a bad one. I feel like it's healthy and should be talked about more, but I think a lot of the times athletes are like, hey, no, I have to think about nothing but winning and what I can do to win. But then you put yourself, you're choosing, it shouldn't be choosing athletics over school, like,
Absolutely.
if
And
that
I
makes
think,
sense.
yeah, no, and I want to add this point as well. When I was in basketball practice, I'm not worried about my paper that I have to go do at the end of the night or what's coming up next week. I think being present in what I'm doing at that time matters. Like, so, and again, I don't want to be like, oh, like, she's only worried about her schooling. Like, no, if it was time for a game, I'm not like, that's the furthest thing from my mind. And that sounds crazy, but I'm a competitor, and when we were playing and when it was game day and all those different, when it was practice, anything, even if it was practice by myself, I'm in the moment with basketball at that time. Once I'm
Yeah.
done, I was able to compartmentalize, put that down, and be like, okay, I have to go to the library and go study for this. And then once I'm in the moment with that, I can go hang out with my friends. Like, it was just about being able to make sure that you made space and time for everything. And again, yeah, that's just pretty much it. I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, that makes sense. And
Mhm.
certain in the moment, being present is the most important thing. So yeah, you nailed that. And it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what can you explain to me your big girl job right now?
So I am a government relations associate. So basically, in simple terms, as a lobbyist. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is that I work for different companies, and they hire our firm to, have their legislative priorities heard and make sure that they're being brought and aware to different legislators or government officials in general. A lot of it's like that's one aspect of it. There's lots of different aspects. So that's probably the more glorious one. I'll just keep on that one. But um, essentially, having the companies. Well, I'll just give you an example. So this is not one of our representatives, but say Coca-Cola wants to have something within the state code within Virginia, right? So I would be responsible, and me and my team will be responsible to essentially advocate on their behalf of what they would like to see written in for, food and drug standards in Virginia, right? So if there's something they don't agree with, then we would, the patron of the bill or a legislator, which are the same thing, would we would go talk to them like, hey, these are the concerns that my client has, and they would list it out, and then we try to have a conversation where we can work in the middle. All of it is really just like the great deal of compromise, essentially. So we're just, trying to work back and forth within, industry and government to, have a compromise.
Okay, yeah. That's really cool. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things that happen behind the scenes that we don't really appreciate,
Yeah.
and we that's really really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
So how do you feel that blah, 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 I can't talk, sorry.
No, I've messed up so many times. So
you know, um um do you feel like what you did in college with playing and academics and discipline and everything that you culminated there transferred over to how you operate in your job? Like, did that help
oh,
prepare
absolutely.
you for your job?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Being able to, again, because it's not just one client I work on, it's a multitude, right? So being able to be like, okay, I'm
Mm.
here for this client right now. I'm prioritizing making sure that I know this, that, and about that client when I'm talking to this legislator is imperative. Like, you have to make sure you make the most of the moments that you have with these people, because again, we're busy people. Their time is, especially during our General Assembly session, which is our state government time, like where we have like our where our legislative branch and our executive branch in Virginia, they are actually creating the bills and doing the work that Congress does year round, but we have a set and finite time within Virginia. So background a little bit. January to March is kind of like their time to like introduce things and make sure that, you know, whatever bills they draw up in the interim get brought to light, and they'll go through the whole legislative process. But back to my further other point, yeah. So making sure that sorry, I feel like I'm going everywhere, but
no, you're fine. I'm tracking.
Okay, thank you. Making the most of the interactions is kind of what I did in college. Making the most of my time. Oh, I'm on the basketball court and make sure that I'm giving it all, my 100%, making sure that I'm doing what I can to put my team in a position to win. Same thing, just not doing that athletically now. That's just the short and simple of it.
Yeah, those interpersonal relationships. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
And you have to probably work with people that have different political opinions or different stances on things. And of course, and being in a team environment with athletics, you have to deal with and learn how to work with people that may be different from you or you don't necessarily like very much for a common goal. So I feel like that has prepared you definitely for what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. You nail it on the head. A lot of and luckily I'm not dealing with as hot button topic issues that, you know, we see on our you know, social media and all these different things around the country, right? So I'm just dealing with mainly business and industry, so it doesn't get as volatile. But yeah, you definitely have to work, you know, I'm working with Democrats, I'm working with Republicans, and having people come across the aisle to make sure that these priorities are met for industry is, again, a good way of making sure that these, like you said, interpersonal relationships and working with people that are like not like-minded like you are utilized to the best of their ability.
I want to transition a little bit to mental health. We hit really hard on mental health on Silence of the Backcourt and struggling. I know I struggled heavily in college with anxiety and depression and having not utilizing near as many resources I probably should have, but I also didn't think that there was a lot of resources. Like I didn't know about the resources that were available to me. So how did you prioritize your mental health, or do you feel like you could have? Oh, I see the puppy.
Yeah, he's trying to get on the couch as we speak, but it's all good.
Wait, can I? Okay, no, sorry. Oh, he's big. Oh, it's so cute. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Gio,
so no, it's perfect.
Okay.
Oh, let's just end the podcast and then let's just like have this.
Yeah, he wants to be seen. He's just
Oh.
All right, G, please get down. All right, sweetie, come on. Let's
so sweet.
Get down, sweetie.
No,
and again, we're like we weigh the same, so it's just like me pushing my whole like myself.
Come on, star.
Right. All right. Chill. I'm so sorry. Let me.
No, I don't apologize. This is awesome. How did you manage mental health with playing in academics and everything that comes with college sports? Like that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say similar to you, I knew of resources. I didn't know how to utilize them and what that would mean for me. I was, you know, adverse at first, but during my transition period when I was going from one school to the other, I fell in a rut, I would say, that didn't allow for me to be the best person I wanted to be at that time, in terms of just fully embracing my new environment and all those different aspects of, you know, transferring from a school. So I, during that time, I tried to utilize my, not resources, but my friends the most. I kind of just reached out to make sure that like I was, you know, talking to people that understood me and understood me, loved me, and could encourage me, and just having those positive influences around me as much as possible when I was at my lowest. So I definitely would say shout out to all my friends who helped me during that time, because they know that I was not, you know, not okay, but they wouldn't let me fall. They wouldn't let me fall. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So again, that my friends from my previous school and then the friends that I made at that new school, they helped me in ways that I couldn't even vocalize. So I think that's just kind of where my mental health and me caring about it was me reaching out to people that I knew would have my back.
Yeah, utilizing that support system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Now, was it hard to build another support system whenever you transferred? I mean, I transferred too twice, and so I mean, I found it a little difficult, like like finding trust in new people. So, what was that like for
Absolutely.
you?
Yeah, so at first, part of that first rut was me not um it wasn't about trust, it was more about me being an introvert. Before I went to school, I was not outgoing. Like something like this I would have never done. Like talked, I would have just been like, okay, let me just sit in the corner and just like watch everybody. Like that was me. Like I'm so glad that I've like passed that now. And I
Mhm.
still have like glimpses of that, but mainly I was just a severe introvert. I didn't want to talk to people. If you talk to any of my teammates at my first school, they were like, we thought you were weird at first. We didn't know. But then I got like accustomed and warm to everybody, and they were just like, oh, okay, we like Amira. So trying to break out of that pattern, I broke out of it a lot sooner at my second school. And that kind of just that's what set me up for more of a relationship with people and a better connection overall, and having that building that system around me.
That's good. I know with athletics, I feel like with the current state of sports culture, and I feel like it's phasing out a little bit, and I think that's happened a lot because of Simone Biles and talking about mental health. I do feel like a lot of the time that old school notion of not being able to talk about your feelings or like to push your feelings down is
Mm-hmm.
pretty prevalent. Um, and so like that's always frustrating. So like building that support system is really really important. So you feel comfortable talking to people in a culture that doesn't really want you to feel your feelings,
Yeah.
and finding trust and so when someone's has chosen you to be a part of their support system, I mean that's a big deal, especially as an athlete, because we're kind of trained
Absolutely.
not to be not to feel our feelings or have them.
Right. And then having that support system with other athletes, understanding like, oh, I understand what she's going through, or I might not understand, but I can see how this could be hard,
Hmm.
means the world. So shout out to them. They're great.
Right. Amazing. Now, did you have a lot of friends in your classes that weren't athletes? Like, did you were you friends with NARPs? I love NARPs. I
Yeah.
love me a NARP, man.
Yeah. I would say at first, no. And I'm just like, that's the one thing I probably regret that I didn't do in college enough was talk to NARPs. My senior year, I had more NARP friends because they would just like hang around. I was like, wait, you've been here this whole time. And I just didn't know. I really wish I interacted with more people outside of my team. And the people that I have were really good friends now. Some of them actually live in the city that I live in, and we're good friends. We go hang out, all those different things, and they gave me perspective. Yes, so a NARP is a non-athletic regular person that athletes call, just normal
Yes.
schoolgoers. So yeah, shout out to them. I don't know, I'm doing a lot of shout outs. That's
And
really crazy, but
no,
I
no,
had
it's
a lot of
great.
um, you know, those friends of mine, I really wish I would have had a more of a collective of them over the years. But that senior year, things winding down, especially when I was done with being an athlete, a college athlete, I kind of leaned on them a lot more and was able to, forge those connections a lot more.
That's great. I know I leaned a whole lot on my NARPs, um, just because like whenever you're an athlete, you hang around your teammates at practice. You probably live with your teammates. You're on the bus with them for hours on end. Then whenever, of course, like you overnight trips, you're staying in the same room. So there's not like a moment of peace you have. That's just like you. It's just someone
Mhm.
that is enduring everything that like we're yeah. There's a sense of togetherness, but it's like hey, we're like sisters, and I kind of want to strangle you because I'm around you so very much, and
Absolutely.
so I, I, in my last year, I had moved off campus and I lived with one of my classmates who did not
Mhm.
play sports, and I found it really, really refreshing, just going home and talking about practice, but like with somebody with a brand new perspective on things.
Yeah.
I, it's very refreshing. I mean, I feel like some of the best friends I made in college were non-athletes just because they were brand new faces and you felt better seeing people that you don't see super super often all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, I love an ARP. And it's not a derogatory term. I don't say it in a
Yeah,
derogatory term.
no. Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
not like a regular person. Like
Right.
I can be envious of narps. Like they there's a lot of stuff that they don't have to do that I had to do, and
Right.
I love that freedom for them. Like I'm
Right.
jealous.
Right. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys, we're going to head into the penalty box. Now, the penalty box is a list of stories that we have gathered either through y'all's submissions or stories we found on Reddit talking about athletics, whether that's from a coach perspective, a teammate's perspective, whatever it might be. We will read these stories. My team has completely vetted them, and I have not seen them. So I will read it out loud, and Amira and I will analyze it and talk about how things could have been handled better or applaud something that was done well, just so people in the future faced with similar levels of adversity or similar situations know how to handle it and are better able to make their team. So let's go into the penalty box. What's the worst thing a coach ever did to you? How did it affect you? Okay, that's what the title thing is. And then
Okay.
this person submitted and said, I made a young player on my 10U softball team cry today, and I truly didn't expect it. My coaches have yelled at me for dumb things and overworked me and discouraged me, but I've never been made to cry. Today, I was getting attitude, and I saw a lack of effort. Other coaches made comments to the girl, nothing heavy or mean, just loud. They went unheeded. I didn't say anything. I usually don't unless it has to do with technique. Eventually, we started doing a pretty simple drill, and again, I saw a lack of effort. And then I told the other girls not to bounce it like she was. I actively brought attention to her. We started sending other players in for a break before the next activity, but I kept her out and started doing the drill with her. It's become a bit of a spectacle because now her teammates notice that we're keeping her out there, that we're talking to her, and I'm getting frustrated because I know she can do better. She's one of the best on the team, and she's ignoring me. All she needs to do to get sent in is do the drill with some enthusiasm, and she's not. So I send her to bounce it off the wall and field it like an everyday. When we start the next drill, I tell her to come in, that she's gonna bat first. I ask her if she's ready to play now, and she starts crying. I walked with her and talked to her until she calmed down. I apologized, went and told her to breathe, and that she could come back to practice whenever she felt better. She did great after that. I couldn't really see she was affected at all, but I messed up. I know I did. The attitude has been a problem before, but I should have pulled her aside and explained to her why we told her those things, encouraged her teammates to cheer her on. She's just a kid. She got overwhelmed, and I should have recognized that earlier. And now I'm sitting here at 1 o'clock typing out a lengthy, guilty explanation because I don't know what else to do. It was my frustration and my pushing her that made her feel that way. Tired, overwhelmed, embarrassed. She's too good to quit, and I don't want to kill any love for the game that she has, but I am worried I may have. Okay.
Okay.
Amir, what is your take on this?
I'd like to hear your take first, if you
My
have.
take.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I like his explanation. The coach's explanation at the end. I feel like he should tell her that. She's writing all of this on the internet and probably is trying to seek some solace or some guidance. But I feel like from a player's perspective, I would respect my coaches a whole lot more if they showed me vulnerability and are hold themselves accountable, and they show me, okay, well, they make mistakes too. And yeah, that he messed up, but having that apology for an adult person, a person in a position of power, apologizing to a subordinate, I think that's massive. I will respect you a whole lot more whenever you hold yourself accountable and are vulnerable, because you're human and you make mistakes, right? And he knows that he messed up, and so hearing that from him, I think would make the situation a whole lot better. That's my initial take. Like,
Yeah.
I
No,
hope he told her that.
yeah. And I think that the cool down walk was a good point. I find the good before I'm like, okay, let's go. But I think at the end of the day, where it's coming from, it sounds like he wants the best for this child. And, if he's seeing, and again, lack of effort, again, that could be explained in a multitude of ways. You don't know what happened with the child beforehand, if they had a rough day or something, something happened at home, like you just don't know what makes them like zone out or, not be their best self, right?
Mhm.
So I probably would have appreciated a conversation earlier, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what's up? That whole interaction first before we get to the, I need more from you. I need this. I need that. Just meeting the child where she is. I mean, it's softball, so I'm assuming it's a she, where she is, and having that open flow of communication probably would have boded well in this situation. But again, like you said, tell the girl this, not the internet. And again, it's good that he feels guilty. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but at least it's showing like, hey, like I know that I have a stake in how she's gonna view this sport later. Cause some of us have these stories of like, oh, I remember this coach said da da da, and that made me either those end up being success stories, like, oh, they pushed me to be the greatest because I wanted to prove them wrong, or it's like, oh, that person made me not fall in love with the game anymore. So, that happened. So tell her, make sure we're asking like questions of why before we're addressing the direct result of what we're seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like peel open the book a little bit. Like let's find the root cause of it. And no kid wants to feel humiliated. Nobody in general wants to feel humiliated. So and it's also humiliating to cry in front of your teammates. And so that's just it's a double whammy kind of thing. So I'm glad that he realized that he messed up, and I really hope that he explained that to her. And I would respect someone a whole lot more if they were vulnerable and an admitted fault, because you're a human being too, and I mess up. So that's the penalty box. Amira, do you have any more comments about that one?
No.
Okay. Well, I think the situation would be handled better if you just talked to her.
Yeah. Don't talk in front of everybody. Don't ridicule her in front of everybody. Like that's probably making it worse. Just talk.
Yeah. Because that also makes someone scared to go to practice. Like coach is gonna humiliate me, and no one should feel like, okay, I'm scared to walk out on the field. I'm scared of every time like he opens up his mouth, it's directed at me. I'm doing something wrong, and okay. So that was the penalty box, and we're going to head back to the show. Hey, okay. So Amira, another thing I like to ask our guests when they come on is maybe like a retrospective question. So if you had advice that you would give someone, a mini version of you, an 18-year-old going into college, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give mini Amira?
First, I would tell her to put her hair down and don't try to be 5'11". You're 5'9". But no. Going into college, no, you know how everybody lied about their height. And
that
one. I'm gonna put my hair up, and it's gonna be. I'm 5'11" now. See, like no, I'm a good 5'8", 3/4. Own it. No, but what I would say, be more outgoing. People are not judging you as harshly as you believe that they are. That's definitely the first point. Second, I would say directly relating to basketball is, that's a good question. Directly relating to basketball, I would say that make sure if you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and know you gave your all and your best try, then that's it. And that's all that you can do. Don't, have that residual discomfort or anything like that. I struggled with that a lot until the end of my career. So definitely just making sure that if you put in the work of the day and made sure that you did everything in your power to give your best for that drill, for that scrimmage, for that game, for those, however long you play, that's all you can do, and just feel good knowing that you gave it your best shot. So those 3 things.
That's great. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite answers. Wow, good job. That was good. Amir, before we let you go, we are partnered with No Solo. No Solo is a mental health advocacy brand, and they donate 20% of their proceeds to mental health initiatives around the globe. And so, Amira, we're gonna send you home with some No Solo gear. We absolutely love No Solo, and we can't thank you enough for being on here with us. And thank you. Lastly, No Solo is really cool because they gave us a promo code. So if you use promo code Backcourt in the checkout, you'll get 20% off your future orders. So that's for everybody else, but you're getting some stuff for free. We will mail it out if you send me your address and stuff. We are ecstatic that you came on with us today, and that's just our thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited to rock the gear.
Yes, amazing, amazing. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's our show. And please know that no matter where you are in your journey, you are more than enough always. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.